Stephen William Hawking was born on 8 January 1942 in Oxford, England. Such was the coincidence that the famous modern-day scientist was born on the death anniversary of the father of modern science, Galileo Galilei. Hawking's father was a well-known researcher in tropical medicine. He wanted his son to pursue a career in medicine, but Stephen turned to the study of mathematics and physics. During his early school years, Hawking was not an outstanding student. Although his friends called him Einstein, his academic record was disappointing, but with time, he began to show considerable aptitude for scientific subjects. Inspired by British mathematician Dikran Tata, Hawking decided to read mathematics at university. In college, he became increasingly interested in physics, particularly in the study of matter and energy. In 1962, he graduated with a first-class honours in physics from the University College in Oxford. Soon after, he began his postgraduate studies at the Cambridge University. It was then that Hawking embarked upon the formal study of cosmology, the study of the universe as a whole. In early 1963, just before his 21st birthday, Hawking was diagnosed with motor neuron disease, commonly known as the Lou Gehrig's disease. This led to the weakening of his nervous and muscular systems and eventually led to his total confinement in a wheelchair. He was not expected to live more than 2 years. Completing his doctorate seemed a distant dream, but Hawking defied all odds. He not only attained his PhD in 1966, but also went on to forge new roads into the understanding of the universe in the decades since. In between, on the 14th of July 1965, Hawking married Jane Will, a friend of his sister who he met shortly before being diagnosed with the motor neuron disease. They had 3 children, Robert, Lucy and Timothy. The couple divorced in 1995 and a few months later, Hawking married his nurse Elaine Mason. His second marriage too ended with divorce in 2006. In the field of study, Hawking's major research was in the areas of theoretical cosmology, focusing on the evolution of the universe as governed by the laws of general relativity. Although he was most well known for his work in the study of black holes. In 1974, Stephen Hawking became one of the youngest fellows of Britain's most prestigious scientific body, the Royal Society, at the age of 32. 5 years later, in 1979, he was appointed the Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at the Cambridge University, the chair that was held by Isaac Newton 300 years ago. He retired from this post at the age of 67 in the year 2009. However, he continued his research at the university's Cosmology Institute. In 2008, he accepted a position as a visiting researcher at Waterloo, Ontario's Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics. Beyond these honours, Hawking earned several honorary degrees, awards, prizes and lectureships from the major universities and scientific societies of Europe and America. In January 2001, the British physicist visited India. He was awarded the first Sarojini Damodaran Fellowship by the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Mumbai, and he had been invited to attend the Strings 2001 conference on string theory. Media reports then said Hawking was impressed by the mathematical skills in India. He met then President K.R. Narayanan and told him that mathematical skills seemed to be a national characteristic in the country. In 2015, Hawking received the 2015 BBVA Foundation Frontiers of Knowledge Award in Basic Sciences for discovering that the galaxies were formed from quantum fluctuations in the early universe. He was given the Lifetime Achievement Award for his contribution to science and British culture at the 2016 Pride of Britain Awards. He was also the subject of a 2013 documentary, Hawking, in which he reflected on his life. Hawking was perhaps the best-known scientist in the world. He did not allow his physical limitation to hinder his quest to answer the big question, where did the universe come from? It was not only his scientific research, but his ability to connect with the people that made him so popular. Hawking was a prolific author with a knack for making books on challenging scientific topics, engaging to a wide spectrum of readers. Over the years, Stephen Hawking has written or co-written a total of 15 books, most noteworthy being A Brief History of Time. It was this book, published in 1988, that catapulted Hawking to international prominence. The book became an account of cosmology for the masses and offered an overview of space and time, the existence of God and the future. The work was an instant success, spending more than 4 years on the London Sunday Times bestseller list. Since its publication, it has sold millions of copies worldwide and been translated into more than 40 languages. To make things easier for his readers, in 2001, Hawking followed up with The Universe in a Nutshell, which offered a more illustrated guide to cosmology's big theories. In 2005, Hawking authored the even more accessible A Briefer History of Time, which further simplified the original work's core concepts. In an interview to Time, when asked if it felt like huge responsibility to have people expecting him to have all the answers to life's mysteries, Hawking conceded he does not have answers to all the life's mysteries and that he could not predict human behavior. Apart from these, some of his other popular books include George and the Unbreakable Code and Other Stories. Written by Hawking and his daughter Lucy, this was a series of illustrated children's books to explain secret keys to the universe to younger readers. My Brief History, a personal memoir, published in 2013, in which Hawking talks about his own life. The Grand Design, this 2010 book, co-written with American physicist Leonard Nordino, addresses important unanswered questions regarding universe, where Hawking spoke against the idea that God could have created the universe. On the Shoulders of Giants, where Hawking writes about the great astronomers and physicists who preceded them. Apart from his books, Stephen Hawking also published many scientific papers and lecture notes. His biopic inspired Hollywood to make the movie The Theory of Everything, that won an Oscar for actor Eddie Redmayne, who portrayed Hawking in the film. World-renowned physicist and mathematician Stephen Hawking is no more. He passed away at the age of 76, leaving behind a legacy that deserves to be celebrated. One of the most brilliant minds in the world, Hawking dedicated his life to unlocking the secrets of the universe. It's he who advanced our understanding of space and time and helped shape the course of physics in the world for the last 4 decades.
NASA said Professor Hawking's theories unlocked a universe of possibilities. It added, "May you keep flying like Superman in microgravity," as you said to astronauts on the International Space Station in 2014. Professor Hawking rose to popularity after his theory on black holes.
I want to report that I think I have solved a major problem in theoretical physics that has been around since I discovered that black holes radiate thermally 30 years ago.
Hawking radiation, as it is commonly known, proved that black holes leak energy and fade to nothing. His theory transformed black holes from destroyers to creators, or at least recyclers. He also claimed that a black hole can only increase, never decrease in size. In an interview in 1978, he said, "You can ask what will happen to someone who jumps into a black hole. I certainly don't think he will survive it. On the other hand, if we send someone off to jump into a black hole, neither he nor his constituent atoms will come back, but his mass energy will come back. Maybe that applies to the whole universe." One of his most popular discoveries was the theory of everything. It is defined as a logical, theoretical framework of physics that fully explains and links together all physical aspects of the universe.
However, to a large extent, we shall have to rely on mathematical beauty and consistency to find the ultimate theory of everything.
While his take on God was understandable, being a scientist and an atheist, his theory on aliens stirred another round of conversations and debates. He said that it was very possible that in all the planets and stars that exist, there had to be some other intelligent life forms, but don't expect a friendly ET version. He said the idea that we are alone in the universe seems to be completely implausible and arrogant. If aliens ever visit us, I think the outcome would be much as when Christopher Columbus first landed in America, which didn't turn out very well for the Native Americans. He also wasn't too enthusiastic about artificial intelligence, saying success in creating artificial intelligence would be the biggest event in human history. Unfortunately, it might also be the last. It could design improvements to itself and outsmart us all. Hawking's mind probed the limits of human understanding, both in the vastness of space and in the submolecular world of quantum theory, which he said could predict what happens at the beginning and end of time. He proposed that if there is a beginning, the Big Bang, it likely will have an ending too.
Yet if, as I hope, basic science becomes part of general awareness, what now appear as the paradoxes of quantum theory will seem as just common sense to our children's children.
Professor Hawking also suggested that there could be multiple universes, not just the one we live in. But he was not one who believed in the afterlife. Following his theories, it's safe to say he is resting in peace.